With the invention of the internet, people's attention spans have been getting worse. Alright, do we want to talk about the TikTok ban? Where there is a congressional hearing that's been going on very recently involving the CEO of TikTok being absolutely bombarded with the most sham of an investigation I have ever seen. These hearings are in no way fair, are in no way productive, are just awful. I mean, like, this is coming from somebody who is openly very critical of TikTok. I think that there are a lot of problems with TikTok and a lot of things that TikTok could do better. A lot of these apply to social media in general. What you should do when you're encountered with these kinds of problems is pass laws which are going to do better privacy enforcement, better democratization of the platform, transparency between the platform, its guidelines enforcement, and creators. But when Congress sees something they don't like, they're just like, let's just ban something instead of talking about ways we can actually reform it. So much of Congress that is doing this interrogation knows jack shit about technology. We'll just watch some clips from the hearing because it gets real obvious real quick how these people know nothing about technology. And as somebody who studies computer security, software security, as a PhD student, I've got a little bit of an expertise in here, and it'd be fun to talk about. First one up here, we've got a little bit of a compilation.
My point is this. I want to say this to all the teenagers out there and TikTok influencers who think we're just old and out of touch and don't know what we're talking about.
Can you tell me right now, can you say with 100% certainty that TikTok does not use the phone's camera to determine whether the content that elicits a pupil dilation should be amplified by the algorithm? Can you tell me that?
We do not.
Okay. So just from a technological perspective, the idea is this guy seems to think that the way that the TikTok algorithm determines which content is really popping off and which content's going to do so well is that they use your camera to look at your pupils, eliciting a dilation response. Pupils go huge. You see the funny gay person on TikTok, and your pupils go whoop, and that's how TikTok knows to push out the algorithm to a bunch of other people. That's just like the dumbest fucking way you could ever implement this, because what actually just makes a lot more sense, if you wanted to like actually determine engagement on a particular video, you can observe things like the view duration, whether or not somebody leaves a comment, whether or not somebody leaves a like, and this data is way easier and more consistent to collect than pupil dilation. And I'm also guessing it's going to be a lot more consistent than pupil dilation. You know, trying to read somebody's pupils is prone to errors, but whether or not somebody sent a like, you just see if they hit the like button. Way easier to flag. And so that's how these algorithms, they work. They just check things that are a lot easier to interact with and publicly available. Also, if your camera was in use while the TikTok app was open, you would be able to figure this out through usage statistics and diagnostics. It's just so crazy because we're just thinking about the most roundabout, invasive, awful way to implement something that just doesn't even work all that well. And also that would be discovered via any kind of app diagnostic. The most basic app diagnostic tool could figure out, oh hey, when I have this app open and I'm just scrolling through videos, it's using my camera. But nobody's found the TikTok app doing that. So it doesn't seem very likely that if the camera is disabled, that they're accessing pupil dilation data and sending that through a machine learning model to decide what to boost in the algorithm. They're just way overcomplicating things. It's insane.
Collect body, face, or voice data to identify our users. We do not.
You don't?
The only face data that you get, that we collect, is when you use the filters to have, say, sunglasses on your face. We need to know where your eyes are. And
why do you need to know what the eyes are if you're not seeing if they're dilated?
And that data?
And then he says that if you're doing like a sunglasses filter, that they need to use an algorithm to figure out where your eyes are so that they can put the sunglasses on your face properly and render them. And then he's like, why do you need to know where the eyes are? To check if they're dilated? My dude, if you wanted to superimpose sunglasses onto somebody's face, how would you do that if you don't know where their eyes are? How would you do that? Just think about this for 1 minute. Have you ever tried to like ask somebody a question in good faith and try to listen to them and hear the response and learn from them? Or do you just want to like interrupt him and get mad at him at everything he says? Like he's not even trying to listen. That's the funniest part.
That is stored on your local device and deleted after use if you use it for facial.
Has TikTok at any time fed precise GPS information collected from U.S. users into algorithms?
Algorithms, my favorite.
I'm having talk today to make inferences about users. Has TikTok at any time provided the Chinese government with either precise GSP information collected from U.S. users
Have you seen this
GSP information? She can't even say GPS right. So this is, I think, the most obvious example of somebody who they did not think about this of their own accord. This bitch doesn't know the difference between GPS and GSP. How did she come to this line of questioning in this hearing? It's because Facebook lobbyists gave her a script to read. She doesn't know what precise GPS data is. She doesn't know what an algorithmic inference is. She can't even say those words right. Facebook lobbyists who want TikTok banned so that they can suppress competition and so that Facebook can push out Instagram Reels as bigger and better than ever in an anti-competitive system, they want to lobby. And they have invested so much money in funding poster boards and pre-written speeches for these people that don't know jack shit. The corruption evident in this clip is insane. Somebody who doesn't know how to pronounce the words she's saying did not come up with these concerns of her own. She's reading a script written by a Meta employee.
Or inferences made from that data.
That I can give you a straight no.
Mr. Chu, does TikTok access the home Wi-Fi network?
Only if the user turns on the Wi-Fi. I'm sorry, I may not understand the...
So if I have a TikTok app on my phone and my phone is on my home Wi-Fi network, does TikTok access that network?
It will have to access the network.
Why does he lick his lips every time he says something? It's so fun. The zoom in on this video is so good.
Yeah, connections to the internet, if that's the question.
So there we have it. If you want to access the internet and you're connected to the home Wi-Fi network, the way that you access the internet is through the home Wi-Fi network. That's how networks work. The internet, it's short for internetwork because it connects networks. So yeah, it goes through the network. I'm sure it's not a bunch of old fuddy-duddies that know nothing about technology. Let's get into some more detailed videos.
Does TikTok access the home Wi-Fi network?
Here's the full home Wi-Fi network clip.
Only if the user turns on the Wi-Fi. I'm sorry, I may not understand the...
So if I have a TikTok app on my phone and my phone is on my home Wi-Fi network, does TikTok access that network?
It will have to access the network to get connections to the internet, if that's the question.
Is it possible then that it could access other devices on that home Wi-Fi network?
Congressman, we do not do anything that is beyond any industry norms. I believe the answer to your question is no. It could be technical. Let me get back to you.
Okay, I'd appreciate it if you could answer that.
Okay, so the question is, if TikTok is on the home network, can TikTok be using the other devices on my home network? And if we're going to engage in this question in good faith from a security analysis perspective, the answer is you could, in theory, hard code that kind of interaction into an app, but the amount of legwork and manual encoding that would go into that would be so easy to detect through app analytics, would also be highly illegal, and would have to rely on security flaws in other devices. So suppose you have a smart microwave in your home, and evil Chinese communist TikTok has decided that they want to hack your smart microwave in order to burn your food. What they would first need is they would need to know the precise model of microwave that you're using, would have to hard code the specs of that microwave, hard code the API pathways of this microwave, would have to hard code, literally code to interact with that microwave, and they would need to know the authentication credentials for that microwave. It's industry standard that IoT devices are secured via passwords, usernames, that kind of thing. So if you have like a smart microwave, typically it's going to be secured via a password if you're going to interact with it via an API. The TikTok application would have to have a hard code ability to know the microwave you're using, the API endpoints for your microwave, would have to hack your password for your microwave in order to burn your food, all the while evading any kind of like usage analysis that would detect, hey, TikTok's trying to access the smart microwave on my network in order to burn my food. At this point, the threat model we have to reach in order for this to happen is fucking ridiculous, just to put it simply. Nobody would do that. Like, the gain that you get out of the effort that you have to put in, it just doesn't make any sense. Nobody would do that. If you wanted to, like, make money off of people, you would just, like, sell their data, like literally every social media company does. It's way easier than trying to hard code how to burn their food in their microwave. I imagine it'd be more the whole DDoS thing that happened with smart fridges a fair number of years ago. Somebody wanted to, like, create a botnet of smart fridges. You could definitely detect that if that's happening in, like, the TikTok app, and it would have to rely on unauthenticated smart fridges. Based off of the, more modern protections we have, it seems that that's not really a thing. And I also don't see what TikTok's motivation would be in order to create a botnet of smart fridges. Like, unless TikTok is trying to create a botnet of smart fridges in order to DDoS Facebook in retaliation for the lobbying that they invested into this hearing, which, by the way, is super fucking illegal and would be really easy to catch via app analytics. So, I mean, with how illegal it is and how much you would get slammed in the lawsuits, it's just not worth it. It's just not... A rational adversary would not do this. One of the things about capitalism is that they're going to chase the profit motive, and they're probably not going to engage in shady business practices in that way. You'll also notice another recurring trend in these clips is that they keep on using the phrase 100% certainty while reminding the CEO that he's under penalty of perjury if he lies. So it's like a common interrogation tactic where you ask for 100% certainty, absolute certainty. That way you can try to gotcha somebody with a literal felony crime if they slip up in any kind of way, or if they, you know, use some kind of like imprecise language at an inopportune time. It's very much a gotcha question, but with the threat of a felony back behind it.
We do not collect body, face, or voice data to identify our users. We do not. The only
you don't.
No.
His
only
reaction's
face data
so funny.
that we collect is when you use the filters to have, say, sunglasses on your face. We need to know where your eyes are.
Why do you need to know what the eyes are if you're not seeing if they're dilated?
And that data is stored on your local device and deleted after use if you use it for facial. Again, we do not collect body, face, or voice data to identify our users.
I find that hard to believe. It's our understanding that they're looking at the eyes. How do you determine what age they are?
He like asks the question. He's like, "Yeah, this is the truth." That's hard to believe. Oh my goodness. These same standards for penalty of perjury, for telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, does not apply to the interrogators, by the way. Like, they can just lie, and they can get away with it in these hearings.
We rely on age gating as our key age assurance.
Age
gating, which is when you ask the user what age they are. We have also developed some tools where we look at their public profile to go through the videos that they post to see whether...
Well, that's creepy. Tell me more about that.
It's public. So if you...
Okay, so now he pivoted to asking about how does TikTok, like, verify the age of users? And the common way that this is done across the internet is via age gating, where you just ask somebody what their age is. But some platforms, including TikTok, have gone above and beyond just doing age gating, where they use algorithms to essentially try to find out what people's age are based off of public information they post, including their bios. So, like, if somebody puts an age in their bio, the algorithm's usually pretty good at picking that up. Also, if people post public videos, you can use face data to estimate an age. These tools aren't perfect. There's definitely some problems that exist in there. I know my oomphy over on TikTok, Parker, who does debates, has gotten an account banned because it thought that he was, like, underage, but he's 20 years old. These tools aren't perfect, but it shows that TikTok is doing actually quite a bit more than most platforms in order to do age verification. So trying to frame TikTok as, like, shady with respect to age verification... TikTok is actually better than most social media platforms that are comparable in this sphere. Oh yeah, and he thought that it was creepy that they were looking at public data, where if somebody posts a public video and says, "Hey, I want everybody to be able to view this video and please push it out in the algorithm so other people can see it," he said that it's creepy to look at those videos. If they wanted privacy, they wouldn't make the video public, and then TikTok wouldn't use it for age verification.
To go public, that's how you get people to see your video. We look at those to see if it matches up the age that you talk
Crazy stuff. I think we have another clip from that guy.
If you look behind me, Mr. Crew, you see some of the challenges that we've seen on TikTok. You know about them. You know about the milk crate. You know about the blackout challenge. You know about the NyQuil chicken challenge.
No! Not the NyQuil chicken challenge. You know this dude has never heard about any of these until a Facebook employee approached him with money and said, "Hey, grill the TikTok CEO about the NyQuil chicken challenge." So, to be clear, all of these were jokes that were, like, obvious jokes. A lot of these even got, like a content warning label that said, "This is dangerous, do not try this at home." Like how TikTok does when people do the things like dancing with fire and whatnot. TikTok has systems to flag those kinds of posts and mark them as, "Hey, don't try this at home. These are professional actors," or this is a joke. Don't do it. Don't actually do it. Oh my goodness. But he's gonna pretend that, like, children are dying because they're eating NyQuil chickens.
The Dragon's Breath liquid nitrogen trend are the challenge that promotes car theft. I want to ask you, as I understand it, there's a sister app.
Every single one of these are jokes.
I'm sorry if I'm butchering the pronunciation. Do they have these same things over there? Do they have these kind of challenges in China?
Congressman, I'm really glad you asked this question.
So he's asking if the Chinese sister app to TikTok, which is similar but functions over in China, the Chinese version of TikTok is a different app that, just like all like the Chinese social media apps are different in order to protect the Great Firewall of China. I don't know specific details. I'm guessing that they also have joke challenges that people post, because that's kind of just like how social media works. A consequence of having social media in this world is people are going to shitpost, and that might include jokes about doing dangerous things that they don't think people are actually going to do. I mean, we can do things to mitigate potential harms. Like, yeah, there are dumb children out there putting on disclaimers like, hey, this is a joke, this is fake, don't do this. Yeah, it's a good thing. Suggesting that we ban TikTok because of joke challenges that people have put out, you would have to ban all forms of social media ever to protect against this kind of thing from happening. I mean, if you ban TikTok, people are going to post about NyQuil chickens on Instagram or Facebook or 4chan or like, this is going to happen anywhere. You can't, like the best you can do is try to mitigate harm or ban social media entirely. It's just not going to happen.
Do they, yes or no?
I'm not sure because
Yeah, whoa, come on now. You're not sure?
I really
Yes or no? Do they have the NyQuil chicken challenge in China? I need to know. Do they talk about cooking NyQuil chicken? China? Do they?
sure.
Remember, you took the chair lady, she said you got to tell the
If you don't know about the General Tso's NyQuil chicken, we're gonna have to kick you out of this hearing.
truth, okay? Do you know whether they have these kind of challenges like this over in China? Because it's my understanding they don't.
I'm not sure because I spend my energies running TikTok.
And you don't look at any of your other competitors or look at anything similar to yours. So you don't know whether they have.
Also, it's most likely that the types of challenges that exist in China, the joke shitposts that people do, are different than the ones that exist in America, because they're different apps and they have different viewers. So I'm sure there is shitposting about joke challenges over in China. They're just going to be different ones.
They don't have this over in China.
I did.
We have it here, but they don't have it here. And that's why I'm
He tried to
asking
respond and got
this.
interrupted.
Why is it that TikTok consistently fails to identify and moderate these kinds of harmful videos?
Just ask him
Why
another
is
question.
it? Why is it that
He tried
you
to
allow
respond,
this to go
interrupted
on?
again.
We've already heard, God bless you, from parents who are here with us, who have lost children. I submit to you, everybody up here cares about the children of this country. Tell me why.
This is a real industry challenge, and we're working
No, it's
very
not
hard.
industry. This is TikTok.
It's
We're
a challenge.
talking about TikTok. We're talking.
Oh my goodness. So now the third time that he was asked a question, he finally lets him get out at least like 3 words before cutting him off again. But yeah, like shitposting challenges are going to be a problem in any social media. Even the Chinese equivalent of TikTok. He's going to be like, nope, you can't talk about the fact that this is a problem that faces all social media. We're talking about TikTok.
Why is it that you can't control this? And although I believe in giving credit where credit's
He seems to think that, like, you can enforce this with, like, 100% consistency and success, but that's just impossible. No algorithm's gonna be perfect. Like, even if TikTok decided to crack down on shitposting challenges that might lead people to do dangerous things, even if they're clearly jokes, like, you can't enforce that 100% consistency. No app can do that. It's a challenge that faces the industry. Shoe's just right there.
Show, I'd like to direct your attention to
Oh, this one's the
screen
most
for a short
frustrating.
video, if you don't mind. That video was posted 41 days ago. As you can see, it is captioned me as F. Your own community guidelines state that you...
See the poster board that she's got, which has been supplied to her by Facebook? So she's gonna go on this massive tirade about how videos like this put everybody in this chamber in danger. They put human lives in danger. When a couple things to note. First off, it was a joke. It was a shitpost. This person did not actually intend on coming up to this hearing with a weapon, because that didn't happen. It was a joke, and it was pretty obviously a joke. The second thing is that this woman right here is a Republican who opposes all forms of gun control. So she's gonna pretend like guns are some kind of huge national security emergency when it was a joke that's not even going to affect her personally. While children are dying in schools, yet we can't even pass any kind of common sense law, which would be like, hey, maybe we should have, like, a license, or, like, mental health background checks, like the kind of things that we do for like, drivers, for example. It's so hypocritical.
You have a firm stance against enabling violence on or off TikTok. We do not allow people to use our platform to threaten or incite violence or to promote violent extremist organizations, individuals, or acts. When there is a threat to public safety or an account is used to promote or glorify off-platform violence, we ban the account. This video has been up for 41 days. It is a direct threat to the chairwoman of this committee, the people in this room, and yet it still remains on the platform. And you
Yeah, no violence occurred. Everybody knew it was a joke.
expect us to believe that you are capable of maintaining the data security, privacy, and security of 150 million Americans where you can't even protect the people in this room?
But they are protected. They have, like, armed security guards. And nobody died in the hearing. And she's a Republican that opposes gun control. Why is she saying that he needs to do gun control?
I think that is a blatant display of how vulnerable people who use TikTok are. You couldn't take action after 41 days when a clear threat, a very violent threat to the chairwoman of this committee and the members of this committee was posted on your platform.
Also, I wonder, like, how many views that video got, because it's very possible for videos that do violate the community guidelines to be stuck in, like, they only get, like, 10 views, and nobody sees them, and they just never get reported, and they never get removed for that reason. Like, most of the videos that violate guidelines that don't get taken down are just because they have no visibility at all. Like, it's very possible this was just an instance where this video got, like, no visibility, and it wasn't taken down for that reason.
You damn well know that you cannot protect the data and security of this committee or the 150 million users of your app because it is an extension of the CCP. And with that, I yield back.
Can I respond?
Oh, yeah, and, just to be clear, so much of this hearing was funneled by, like, fear-mongering about China. Every single one of these people have, like, been at various points mentioning privacy threats, China data, the Chinese Communist Party stealing your data. There is no evidence TikTok data is being extradited over to China and the Chinese government. And even if it was, the Chinese government having American data is less scary than the US government having US data. Because they're over in a different country. Like, they can't use, like, your personal data to inflict as much harm as somebody on American soil could. And we know about how every social media company is glad to sell their data across the US. The bigger threat is what's happening here with data being sold in the US. And with that said, there's not even any evidence out there that TikTok data on users is being exported to China. And then he asks if he can respond.
Chair?
No, we're going to move on.
Don't even give me a single chance to respond to anything she said. She asked him multiple questions, didn't give him a chance to respond. After she finished her tirade, didn't give him a chance to respond. This is a complete sham. This is not a fair trial.
It's been used to remove content on TikTok associated with the Uyghur genocide. Yes or no?
We do not remove that kind of content. TikTok is a place of freedom of expression, and
Okay, and now we have Grandma over here. Can't even be bothered to go to the TikTok search bar right here and just type Uyghur genocide. She can't be bothered to go to the search bar. Oh, look, videos talking about the Uyghur genocide. Just type the 2 words into Google. Why are you wasting everybody's time asking the TikTok CEO if you can, like, look up content on the... Well, you can just type it in the search bar right there.
we do not remove that kind of content. TikTok is a place of freedom of expression, and Chera, just like I said, if you use our app, you can go on it and you will see a lot of users around the world expressing content on that topic and many others.
Thank you. What about the massacre in Tiananmen Square? Yes or no?
And then another one where she could just go to the search bar. Can you look at the Tiananmen Square massacre? Oh, look, it's right there. Oh, look, the actual footage right there. This stream just got banned in China, by the way, unfortunately.
That kind of content is available on our platform. You can go and search it.
I will remind you that making false or misleading statements to Congress is a federal crime.
I understand.
Yeah, you can click the
Again,
search bar,
if you go on
Grandma.
our platform, you
Next
will find that
question.
content.
Okay, thank you. Reclaiming my time, can you say with 100% certainty that ByteDance or the CCP cannot
There's
use
that
your
100%
company,
certainty.
its divisions to heat content to promote pro-CCP messages for an act of aggression against Taiwan?
We do not promote or remove content at the request
guess
of
the
the
question-
Chinese government.
the question
And
is,
we will
are you-
replace.
The question is, are you 100% certain that they cannot use your company to promote such messages?
It is our commitment to this committee and all our users that we will keep this free from any manipulation by any
Okay,
government.
if you can't say 100% certain, I take that as a no.
Oh my goodness. Like, the thing is, like, she's going to use this phrase 100% certain. That way, if there's ever like a security vulnerability, she can charge this man with perjury, a felony. But like, he's just doing his best to answer the question, and she's just interrupting him multiple times, not even letting him answer the question after she asked him 2 questions, which she could find the answer to by the TikTok search bar itself. And I actually did see that there is some good faith critique that exists out there that I saw in the hearing, and I want to be clear that there are many ways that you can offer good faith critiques of TikTok and talking about reform that would positively improve the platform and improve security and improve privacy. And I wanted to highlight this clip just to show that some people actually are trying to be good faith.
Of social media platforms, content moderation, algorithmic discrimination, and safety are neither new nor unique to TikTok.
True. It's an industry thing.
For example, I was disturbed by reports that TikTok content moderation algorithm flagged words like black or Black Lives Matter as inappropriate content. So my first question, Mr. Chu, is do you agree that platforms like TikTok should be subject to regular audits or transparency requirements to identify whether policies have a disparate impact on communities that are protected classes like race, religion, national origin, or gender?
I think, Congresswoman, I think platforms should be very transparent. You can come and say whatever you want, as long as you don't violate the rules of safety that were put in place.
It is vital that the diverse culture of the United States is reflected online.
But yeah, look at that. That's a valid critique, especially with how algorithmic bias tends to disproportionately negatively impact minorities and people who have been systemically oppressed along socioeconomic lines. That's a valid critique, and one that's worth bringing up. This woman asked a valid question. She was listening for an answer, and she got a commitment from him to look into that and try to do better. So I've learned, like, this is what a hearing could look like, and we could pass legislation that would hold TikTok accountable to these kinds of things. But the overall majority of this investigation is nothing like this. But it's just so refreshing to see something like this where we have a good faith critique with a good question actually getting a commitment for something to change, you know?
Online, but I'm concerned the algorithms and content moderation practices employed by TikTok are ignorant to the fundamental diversity while also failing to remove content that is harmful. My next question to you is, it's my understanding that users must be in good standing to be eligible for compensation from TikTok's Creator Fund. For example, they can't have violated community guidelines. Is this correct?
There are some details there, but directionally, yes.
If TikTok's algorithm is flagging content incorrectly, resulting in creators violating community guidelines when in fact they have not, those creators would not be eligible to receive compensation under the Creator Fund, correct?
We do have an appeals process.
You have an appeals process, okay.
Yes.
In my view, if TikTok...
Yeah, once again, another good faith question. And there is a real conversation to be had about the biases in the TikTok moderation process and even in the appeal process. It's something good to talk about, and I'm glad that she's actually bringing this up because this is a real issue that faces TikTok and that we could even legislate, where we could legislate better appeal processes, things done by real users, not just robots. This could be legislated, and this is what these kind of hearings should be talking about.
Algorithms that disproportionately remove content from Black creators. It disproportionately silences and excludes Black creators from compensation opportunities. And this problem happens in parallel to the lack of adequate recognition, attribution, and compensation to Black creatives for their content. The exploitation, cultural misappropriations, the erasure of Black creatives' ownership of their fashion, art, and media is nothing new. We need transparency, accountability, and bold action to mitigate against misinformation, bias, and exclusion of certain communities from the opportunities present on platforms like TikTok.
She is absolutely killing it there. And yeah, Banger V1, even at the very beginning, she mentioned that this is something that faces all of these social media platforms, not just TikTok. She acknowledged that right from the get-go. This is absolutely a good faith critique and something worth talking about. The suppression of minorities from algorithms is a huge problem that has been well studied in the field of computer science, but getting that to go out into the business field, there's still some work to do there. And she's actually listening for his responses. Crazy, right?
I'm concerned about transparency. I am concerned about algorithmic accountability. And I'm not clear that your organization holds those values.
Yeah, fantastic line of questioning. This is what these kind of hearings should look like, because this opens up conversations about real flaws in the app and real flaws in social media and ways that we can address them, both through policies, pushes towards other types of social media. So I want to applaud her for setting a really good example of how these kind of hearings could actually be conducted. She definitely echoed a lot of the things that I like to talk about when I talk about criticisms of TikTok. I think the other big one that is kind of important to talk about is like how much TikTok is poisonous to like people's attention span and how it feeds into the like the ADHD drip of have to keep people hyper focused with the Family Guy clips and the Subway Surfers and the kinetic sand all going at the same time just to like get people mindlessly scrolling. There's definitely some real damaging elements of that kind of content. If we just go to this like mind-numbing content all the time, it can really mess with your brains, especially if you're just not even paying attention to what's going on anymore, being sucked in by the Subway Surfers. Yeah, it's a real problem. As far as like addressing that kind of issue, it's kind of tough to do. Like you can definitely do things like trying to limit the types of cheap grab content, trying to limit the algorithmic push of like mind-numbing dull content. But it's a tough problem. It's a really tough problem, and I don't know what the best solution is going to be moving forward. It might have to come out of like technological advancements to try to identify the type of content which is just like brain numb, quick, gotcha, algorithmically generated. Like the types of like people that have a text robot read Reddit clips over Subway Surfers. I mean, you could like algorithmically identify that style of cheap, effortless content and try to suppress it, which might be a good thing for people's mental health and like just attention spans in general. It's been known that with the invention of the internet, people's attention spans have been getting worse, and this has been exemplifying ADHD symptoms, particularly in ADHD people, and even in people that don't have ADHD. And like, with the rise of short form content, I think that we've seen even worse dips in people's attention spans, and that's worth addressing, I think. So yeah, you can absolutely levy good faith critiques against TikTok.